Silvia Frost. Thank you, Silvia, for coming into the studio.
Thank you, Antonio, and good afternoon, and thank you for having me come in. I've got a few notes in front of me and I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Excellent, yes. Now, so I just said we're going to talk about your entrepreneurial story, which is a nice segue from having had the Mayor and Deputy Mayor of Campbelltown explain what they do and what support they can provide small businesses and people starting off into this area. Well, first of all, I was saying, for example, one of the things that it's there's lots of ups and downs, not only through the year, through the month, but even in a day, or at the same time. How do you cope with that?
Well, given the business that we had, you could walk in the morning and think you're going to have an easy day, but within half an hour, the whole day, you get a few emergencies, and the whole day was just turned upside down. So, operationally, that meant I had to reshuffle and get onto those priority ones.
Okay. So you said the nature of your business, and you said there are emergencies. What was your business?
So our business is power generator systems. So this is a business that my husband and I co-founded more than 20 years ago. So we specialised in emergency and critical power backup systems for clients where power reliability is essential. So we work with hospitals and universities, data centres, research facilities, aged care facilities in defence, really any site with critical infrastructure that cannot afford to lose power. So it was our job in the event of a power outage to make sure that the client had power, so it was just business as usual for them.
So you're providing backup generators?
Yes.
And helping them keep on working?
Yes.
When they needed to be working?
Yes.
And usually they were required at critical moments?
Yes. We actually provided a whole backup system. So there's a lot of equipment and technology that goes with emergency backup power systems.
Like what sort of systems?
You've got your generators, and then given the increase in electrification in buildings, with the more sophisticated building management systems, we saw generators that needed to be larger because of the greater electrical loads and that higher expectation around that reliability, and from when we, over those 2 decades, we witnessed a significant change in technology and that role of emergency power systems, what that played in business and in society as well.
Yes, and you just mentioned changes in technology. So 20 years, yes, so huge changes in the way computers work, and the internet has become much, much more important.
Yes.
Is that relevant to you?
Oh, definitely. Given, we look after majority of the data centres here in Adelaide, and there's quite a few data centres in Adelaide, becoming increasingly reliant on the technology, and that reliance on that emergency power did grow substantially. And what we saw as well, that backup power shifting from a nice thing to have to becoming an essential part of doing business.
Okay. And why did you think about it? So if that's changed a lot, what made you think 20 or more years ago that this would be an interesting area to get involved in?
Okay, so like many of these journeys, it started with us seeing an opportunity, and we just went for it. So Andy had the technical expertise in the power generator industry, and we identified a gap in the market because at that time in the industry, it was largely dominated by the major OEMs like Cummins and Caterpillar and MTU. So while they provided an excellent service for those larger customers, many smaller businesses and organisations were often overlooked and unable to access that service. So with that, we took many opportunities. We did things a little bit differently, and we took advantage of us being a smaller company, and we really did focus on our ability to be more agile and customer focused as well. So with that, we didn't have all those layers in management, when we had to make a decision. So if a customer needed something, we could respond quite quickly. And we could also make decisions quite quickly that we could tailor what the customer required. And it was those tailored solutions that we provided that really did set us apart from our competitors.
Yeah, okay, so you're saying, this is music to my ears, that they're all the things that tell us what are the differences between large established companies and small entrepreneurial.
Mm-hmm.
You're small, you're more nimble, more flexible, you don't have to go through all those layers of management. It's mostly
Yes.
you and your business partner, who happens to be also your husband,
Yes.
and maybe not many more people in the company. So information moves quickly, and you can think quickly.
We can. We still were a company of 25.
Mm-hmm.
So there still was a fair few staff for us to manage, but the generator industry is quite unique, and with the technicians and admin staff and workshop staff, everybody on your team is quite passionate, and you have to be, because generators are not a piece of equipment that breaks down Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So, you can't shut down buildings during normal working hours.
Yes.
So you have to be passionate, because, the technicians, at 3 o'clock can have a breakdown, and sometimes they didn't get home till 11 o'clock.
When I started asking you to come on to the radio to talk about your entrepreneurial story, you said, well, actually, I'm sure you're in the process of selling, we've just sold the business.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in December 2025, so just at the end of last year, we sold the business, which was a significant milestone for us, and probably a reflection of the hard work of everybody that was involved in building that business for over 2 decades. But although we've sold the business, Andy and I are still involved during the transition period. So we can ensure that the transition is successful, and for the employees and for customers and for the new owners as well.
How does it feel to be letting go?
It is definitely a mix of emotions. So when you've spent 20 years building something from the ground up, and the business does become a big part of your identity. And as a founder, you're so used to always making decisions every day, solving problems and thinking about the future of the business. So letting go of that has had its challenges, but it was the right time to sell, because Emergency Power is a 24/7 business, looking after critical infrastructure does have its challenges. But we're very proud of what we built and what we achieved and all the relationships along the way. But the sale has created space for Andy and I to stop and reflect and work out what is next.
Yeah, and can you tell us what's next? Do you know what's next?
For me personally, I still have that passion for business and leadership, and throughout my career I have been a champion of women in construction. So currently I'm one of the mentors in a mentor program for NAWIC, which is National Australia Women in Construction. So that's mentoring females who are entering the construction industry. So I love it that I get to share my knowledge and my experiences and hopefully make a difference for these females coming into the construction industry. And also being a mentor, it's given me an opportunity to learn from them as well and learn what the construction industry looks like for them in 2026 and beyond. And,
yes.
and also, given my passion for business, some people think I'm mad, but I have already invested in another company. That company is Amplifio, and Amplifio is an AI-powered marketing software platform, and it's designed to help businesses create and manage their marketing content more efficiently. So it's very different from construction, and that's what excites me about it. Probably also I'll take a more active role in managing our property investment portfolio. So rather than seeing the sale as an ending, I see it as a beginning of a new chapter.
The transition. Yeah, interesting about seeing females in the construction industry. I've come across quite a few companies, areas where they're actually looking for women partly because of shortages and
Yes.
they're trying to encourage women into untraditional areas. Actually, last year, I think maybe Apprentice of the Year
Yes.
that I interviewed, a young lady called Isabella Larista,
Yes.
electrician.
Yes.
And she's doing a lot of good stuff.
Yes.
Very articulate, very interesting, very passionate. It's lovely to see.
There's a lot of work being done around, getting women into construction, but also, making sure that they stay in construction throughout their career. That's where the problem is.
Well, now we've got a few more minutes. Not really, but we'll take a few more minutes. I keep on saying you're going to talk about your Italianness. Now, the name Frost.
Yeah, well, my mum was born in Telio in 1937. Now, Telio is a little small town in the region of Lombardy, up in the northern parts of Italy. So her story is quite interesting. So my mum and her family came to Australia to visit my nonna's sisters in 1938. They had return tickets, but when the war started to escalate in Italy, my nonna decided to not travel back to Italy, and so they stayed in Australia. And my mum was only 18 months at the time. My nonna was a widow in Australia with 4 children, so there's my first strong female that I had around in my life. Yes, and Nonna was an incredibly hard-working woman. She ran a boarding house in Adelaide. My dad was actually born in Zadar, which is now a part of Croatia, but when he was born, it was a part of Italy, and the war came, and Croatia took that part of Italy over, and then the family moved to Trieste after that.
He's part of that group.
Yes.
But we can talk about refugees, yes, political refugees.
Yes, yes. So My dad came to Australia in 1956 and he was 25. He had two uncles here, but the story goes that he was quite unsettled in Italy, and so his father bought him a ticket to Australia just for a holiday, but he enjoyed it so much he ended up staying. So,
Okay,
yeah.
right, so your parents met here in
They
Australia?
met here, yeah. Given that my mum was here from 18 months, you know, she did go back to Italy quite a few times. We had a really good mixture of that Italian and Australian lifestyle. So, you know, my Italian heritage has influenced my business journey in many ways. You know, given my parents migrated to Australia, and like most migrants at that time, you know, they arrived with very little, and so growing up, there was a strong emphasis on hard work and resilience and loyalty, and you know, all those values carried me through into how I approach business.
Yeah, and you said your mother's been back to Italy several times. Have you visited?
Yes, I have visited several times. I have been back to Telio several times, and I have been to Zada as well.
Ah, so maybe you could have done this in Italian.
No.
No.
No. So yeah, you know, my grandmother spoke very good English. My mother spoke very good English. You know, when my dad arrived, he couldn't speak English, but he learned to, you know, speak, read and write English because he was a real estate agent. So, and he was involved with, you know, the Lions Club, and, you know, he was part of the local council. He was councillor of Hilton Ward, and he was a member of the Liberal Party. So he was deeply involved
And his
in
name was?
the community. Mario Antonello.
Aha, now, I was going to ask you now. One day you asked me, did you know Franca Antonello?
Yes.
I said, yes, I do. Aha, and what's the connection with, obviously, Mario Antonello? Maybe related to Franca Antonello?
Yes, so Franca's husband Enzo and my dad are first cousins.
Okay.
So when my dad came to Australia, it was Zul Enzo's family that he lived with. So they were, you know, very close because that's who my father lived with for quite a few years.
Aha, interesting. They say the 6 degrees of separation in the world, and in Adelaide maybe only 2 or 3.
Yes, yeah, especially in the Italian community.
Yes, and Franca's done lots of interesting things in the Italian community.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I think, yes, we can wrap up now. Thank you again for coming into the studio.
Thank you very much.